Hey guys, welcome back to another Virgo Girl recommendation. And the words that come to mind right now are heartbroken. I just completed this movie, Joe Bell, and it has to be one of the most heart-wrenching stories I've ever seen. First of all, it's based on a true story, which is just amazing that they were able to compile everything into this. It was like a little bit over an hour and a half movie, and really help you to see what this young boy was going through. So let me back up a little bit. First of all, the movie is about a father who decided that he was going to walk from Oregon to New York City in a in order to bring awareness to bullying, and specifically bullying youth who are LGBTQ. So this man, he had this son, and before I even go there, let me start off by saying the man, he's played by Mark Wahlberg, and he plays this alpha male, and he has this son who is very um, like like a smaller young man. He's very like more on the dainty side. He's not at all like his father. However, in the movie, you can tell that even though the father was totally different from the son, he loved his son very much. Period. But he, because of how he was and how, he was raised and just, his ideas about things, he didn't have the capacity to really understand his son in the way in which his son needed him to understand him. So you kind of see that going on where the son is basically just begging for someone to just listen to him and understand things from his perspective. And you can just see watching this how a person who is different feels when everyone is telling them how they should feel, telling them how things should go from their point of view, and not even considering the fact that he, him or whoever the person is, has a whole different perspective, a whole different way of living their lives. So, anyway, it kind of like shows you all of that. And then it also shows the complexity of what it's like of just dealing with like a small town, people with small minds, people who don't accept you when you're different, and how what a toll that takes on a person after a while. I think this movie is phenomenal. One, because this is a movie for, I think that a lot of people can get something out of. Definitely a great movie for any LGBTQ uh, children, like younger people who are going through things. But I think just overall, period, even if you're an adult, it doesn't matter. This movie, I think you can learn a lot from this movie. Also, I think anyone in life who feels that they were different, they didn't fit in for whatever reason. It could be because you are in the LGBTQ community, it could be because you're of a different nationality or a different religion or a different race or whatever than your peers. Anytime you are in a situation where you are the minority and the majority feels some kind of way about who you are and how you express yourself, or who you, I shouldn't say how you express yourself. I don't want to say that. I want to focus on things that you can't control. So anytime there are things you can't control, like the color of your skin, your sexuality, things like that, things that things that just happen to you. These are just things, you were just born this way, as Lady Gaga says. Things like that, that you were just born this way, and people tend to not like you because of it. Things like that are things that really hurt people to the core, because how can they express who they are without people judging them for this thing they can't control? Because overall, as a human being, things you can't control them. However, you are a whole other individual outside of that. You have so much to bring to the world besides this, whatever this thing is that you can't control in your life. And I think this movie shows that so much. Like, this was a bright young boy. He seemed really kind, sweet, and he had things that he liked. He had ambition, he had goals. But at school, it was like the main focus was always on him being gay. And it was so just, oh, you just wanted to just jump in the TV and help him because it was just so horrible. It was so heartbreaking the way that the kids treated him. I mean, they really gave that boy a hard time. Like, it was horrible. So much so they just kept, you know how you just push someone and push someone and push someone till they just can't take it anymore. And you got to see that in this movie in real time. And it literally, it definitely is heart wrenching. But at any rate, moving forward with the movie, by it being a true story, you also get to see the father and over time get it. And that was a beautiful thing. You know, he just all of a sudden, it was like he just got it. And he started doing this walk and started, just talking about, you know, how, the kids picking on his son affected him. And that was his goal, to kind of like enlighten people and try to bring awareness to this whole thing of people bullying people. And it's so funny because in him doing this, you see him go to like gay bars and things like that. And you see how he becomes this person who just looks at people as people instead of like judging people for their sexual orientation or what have you. He was just really able to have an open mind and just sit and talk to people and see them as people. And I think that was, for me, that's what I got out of this movie. If you've ever felt the urge to like judge somebody, when you watch this movie, it really, really, really will help you to be more of a non-judgmental person as well. Because at the end of the day, it's so true. We all are human beings, just doing the best we can with what we have to work with for the most part. And people just want to be seen and heard for who they are and not for things that are trivial or things that, like I said, they have no control over. It's just all about living together, loving each other, and being more accepting. And I think this movie really brings a great light on that. Now, I don't want to spoil it 100%, but I do want to let you know that this movie has some very sad points, a lot of sad points in it where, I mean, not points, sad parts where you're just, your heart just literally breaks into pieces. There are multiple times when this happens in this movie. I think Mark Wahlberg did a great job in capturing the dad and making us feel like we were there to understand and go through the pain, the trials, and the tribulations that the father went through. I think the son, the mother, I mean, the whole family, because he had a brother as well. I think they all were great actors and they did a wonderful job in displaying the emotions that we needed to see for this type of movie. I highly recommend this movie for everyone. I think it's just a great movie to watch. It's so funny because when you just never know what people are going through when they're different, and like especially when they're different in a small town where people are really close-minded. It was just wow, crazy to see, how that impacts people. And in my day-to-day life, I understand that if someone's being picked on, I understand that it can really do a number on their psyche. I understand that it could really, really, bring people's self-esteem down depending upon how, what state they're in. So I get that, but I think this right here really just got to me because he was so young. And I think he was like, I'm pretty sure he was like 13. And just to see him not even be able to enjoy his childhood because the kids were just so cruel. And imagine, because you know, in when you're growing up, school is such a big part of your life. I mean, it just is. Your school, your friends, just having to go there every day is such a huge part of your life and growing up. And it just crazy how for him, what that looked like for him. And then also, another point I'm going to mention before I get off, you get to see how the adults, like the teachers and the different adults, like his friend's parent, one of his, one of his friend's mom, she just how she reacted to him when he was like basically crying out for help. And you just get to see how like he didn't have anyone who just got him and how that felt. Like he must have felt so isolated because he literally had no support. And imagine being that young, going through all that drama at school, and then to have no one try to help you or support you in any way. That had to be extremely frustrating for him, you know. And even, you know, even though his parents loved him, they, you know, they didn't get it in a way that he kind of needed them to at that point. I feel like they got it more later on, but at the time when he was really in the thick of it, where he really needed someone, it was just kind of like no, you know, no one was really understanding him and no one really was helping him in the way he needed to be helped. He just needed some support, you know, and he needed some guidance as to what to do in the situation that he was in with the school, because it was like no one really was giving him a resolution as to what to do about these kids that were picking on him. But anyway, just watch it. I don't want to do too many spoilers because I'm so happy I didn't know anything about this going into it, and watching it, it was fantastic. Check it out. It's called Joe Bell. It's on Amazon Prime Video. And until next time, peace.